Niners faithful? This is Juju Talk Sports, joined by Jose Corral. You're listening to 49 Reasons to Listen. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button as it is time to break down week 3. Now, I know we haven't posted a video in like a week, but we had to let go of our depression because week 2 against the Jets in MetLife was not the most fun Sunday. Yes, we beat the team 31-13, but at what cost? At what cost, Jose?
It was a heavy cost. It was a really big cost, especially early into the season when teams are starting to get into their groove. You want your best players out there the first few weeks, and now we're going to be missing a huge key parts to this team. If you would have told me, okay, you lose against the Jets, but you'd lose none of the guys that you lost in that game, I would take it. I would 100% take the loss rather than losing the guys that we did. So it was rough. Yes, the win is nice. Obviously, we're 1-1 now, won our first game of the season, whatever. But I think bigger picture here is definitely the injuries. That was rough.
What does it say about the Jets that they lost to our JV team like that? I'm just saying.
No, God bless their franchise and to their fans. They haven't been good in a while. They haven't been really, really good in a while, and it doesn't look like it's getting better anytime soon. Sorry to Sam Darnold. The kid's a hell of a talent, has a hell of an arm. The last touchdown he scored in that game was a hell of a throw, but they need help, and they need help soon.
It's going to be interesting to see them when they ruin Trevor Lawrence's career as well. But let's get into, away from the Jets, let's get into what the Niners are having to deal with this week. So they're going to be facing the New York Giants. They're coming in at -4. So they're still the favorites. But the big story is, of course, again, going back to the injuries. So Raheem Mostert, out. Tevin Coleman, out. Jimmy Garoppolo, out. George Kittle, out. Dee Ford, out. Dre Greenlaw, out. Cal Witherspoon, questionable, probably out. Do the Niners deserve to still be favorites going into Sunday, Jose?
If they are, I don't think it's a 4-point gap. I mean, if they win, they could win by a field goal. I would bet, if I was a betting man, I would bet Giants on that line right now, just because you mentioned it. There's so many, and it's not even minor injuries. I mean, they're pretty big injuries to key guys. I'm talking about guys that made a Super Bowl run just last year. And the biggest one was probably Nick Bosa. Losing him for the year is probably the roughest one. And now we have our quarterback gone. Or the first two-string running backs are gone as well now too. And it's going to be rough. But, again, it is the Giants. It is the team that's been struggling the past couple of years. And they just had a major injury themselves. They lost their best player, Saquon Barkley, for the year. So I guess maybe it makes sense for Vegas to put us as -4 favorites for now. But, I mean, the Niners just have a pile of injuries that Daniel Jones could carve up this defense if I'm being honest here.
Yeah, and that is another thing. Heck, I forgot to even mention Richard Sherman already out. He was out last week. Mm-hmm. So we are down to our third-string cornerback. We have 0 pass rush with both our top 2 edge rushers currently sidelined in Nick Bosa and Dee Ford. Daniel Jones might be able to sit comfortably in that pocket and pick apart Jason Verrett, who hasn't seen play since the Steelers game last year, or Emmanuel Mosley, who he's not going to have the toughest matchup in the world going against Darius Slayton, who's probably the Giants' number 1 wide receiver. But Evan Ingram, too, over the middle with Dre Greenlaw out. Mm-hmm. And the big story of the week also was going to be the MetLife turf. Apparently the NFL did an investigation on it, says it's fine. I wasn't expecting anything too different from that. Or what were they going to do? Change the whole turf out in a day? Change the grass? The complaints were arbitrary, and they weren't going to change anything. Like Kyle said in one of his press conferences this week, turf's bad no matter where you go. We can't keep using that as an excuse. But at a certain point, that you do wonder as a Niners fan, are we cursed or are these injuries preventable? What are we doing that are causing our guys to just go down like flies? I've never seen a team have this amount of injuries in the first 3 weeks of a season. I understand that we had no training camp, no OTAs. It was a weird offseason with COVID. But still, this is just absurd. As far as the on-field product, Nick Mullins at quarterback, I think, is the biggest thing to monitor throughout this. Mm-hmm. Now, Niners faithful, Niners Twitter is interesting to monitor during this time period. There's a couple narratives that I'm curious to see. The big one is, we don't need Jimmy. Nick Mullins can do just fine. Now, I like Nick. Let me preface that by saying I like Nick. He did fine. He kicked the shit out of the Raiders 2 years ago on Thursday Night Football. He also had a big game against the Seahawks in overtime in about week 15, but when really the Seahawks weren't giving too much of crap. I don't like the fact that I have to see him starting. You know, the great part about a good backup quarterback is you really don't want to see them on the field, to be honest. That's the key to a good backup. Like, they can start, but you don't really want them to start.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a guy with a 13-10 touchdown interception ratio in 2018, Nick Mullens, how confident are you in his ability to beat this New York Giants defense?
I'm confident enough that he'll get the job done, especially because whenever Jimmy went down last week, he came in, he did okay. He had a couple of moments where he just seemed hesitant, but which is natural. He hasn't seen the field in quite a while. So I'm hoping that now that he was able to get that playing time in that second half against the Jets, I hope that really gets him more into a comfort zone against the Giants now, to where, okay, now he's starting all 4 quarters. He's going to be the guy. And I'm glad that they announced it relatively earlier in the week. Like, when was it? Like Thursday? I'm glad they did that instead of waiting to see if Jimmy Garoppolo could go until like Saturday. Because now Nick Mullens, he has had a few days to prepare. He has a few days knowing that he's going to be the guy on Sunday. So I think I'm confident enough that he could easily beat this Jets team. This Giants team. Sorry, this Giants team is not something that anybody should really be scared of, if I'm being completely honest here. And from what we've seen from Nick Mullens in the past, we've seen some pretty good glimpses of him. And what we saw just last week, he should be fine. He has enough weapons to beat this Giants team.
Okay, score prediction.
I'm predicting a low scoring game here. Maybe the 17-13 Niners, right on the -4.
Okay, well, Niners Twitter is not going to like me after this one, but I'm going to be honest. I just have a hard time seeing a team who's on their backup quarterback, third string corner, third string running back, no edge rushers, being able to win. I think this is not the same Niners team we had to start the season, not even close to the same Niners team that we were expecting throughout the year. And that's why, unfortunately, I must say they lose 21-17. I have them, I guess, the reverse of that Vegas line. And I just think it's just a mountain of injuries. I think it's good that we're talking about this in the sense that we're confident in our coach, we're confident in our ability to just be next man up. But after a certain point, if it was just 1 or 2 of those pieces, fine. But we're talking about a injury report that has double-digit names on it at this point. And I'm sorry that my faith isn't strong this week. I know you may find my lack of faith disturbing, but Niners faithful, go ahead and let us know what you think about this Sunday's game in the comment section. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hopefully I'm wrong, Jose's right, and we'll come back with more positive news after the game on Sunday. We'll see you next time.